let's get on with the review. First of all, what you get in the pack is you get this beautiful leather box, got like a lovely spongy sort of feel, maybe synthetic leather, I'm not sure. Very similar to the original Ocean Rover 1 box and the prototype models and so on. They've started sending out these leather bands now. As I understand it, they're very limited run. So the original Ocean Rover, and I believe some of these early pre-orders came with a green NATO strap. That's what I had with my original Ocean Rover 1. They've started sending out these leather bands then, but I understand that they are pretty close to running out on those as well. So I'm not sure whether they'll just send the watches out from here on in, or whether they will send out some different strap variations. So it'll probably be slightly different if you end up ordering one. I will say this, it is about the softest leather strap I've ever owned. Beautiful, supple leather, almost like a suede effect. Just lovely and soft. You have the Ginault branding here on the inside. So really nice attention to detail there. You've got it on the clasp. Beautiful stitched leather strap, very, very soft and supple. So let's get that out of the way. Then this is what we get in the box. The Ginault Ocean Rover 2. Now there are basically 3 different color combinations that you can get in this. This particular one is called the Gold Sand. So it's got the vintage kind of sandy color indices on the dial, the date window, and the lume pip at the top. You can also get the blue Smurf variant on the dial with the black bezel, similar to this, except with a white pip at the top. And then you can get, hopefully you can get anyway, a blue bezel version. Now, in the pre-order run, they had some issues with actually the application of the blue bezel. I believe it's something to do with the color, ensuring that the quality was up to par. So they're not offering that right at the moment, but I hear that they're very close to having a solution for that. And I would be really excited to see the blue variant because just as a different color combination, I'm a big fan of blue in watch dials and bezels. I think it's going to be stunning. So effectively what you have are 6 different models in the Ocean Rover 2 line. We have 3 date and 3 no date variants. Now they do have some customization options. Instead of the flat crystal with the magnification, the Cyclops there, you can get a domed crystal with no anti-reflective coating. I just opted for the more kind of classic look, flat crystal with the Cyclops, which I know a lot of people are not fans of, but I actually quite like it. I think it's a classic look, and I'm glad I went for that. We'll talk about a little bit what you get in the kit. So you get the watch. I've sized it so it won't actually fit on the pillow, which is why the clasp is open there. You get the little watch screw tool, which is very high quality, just perfect fit for the screw links on this particular bracelet, which we'll talk about in a moment. Then you have this little limited warranty card, beautiful, lovely gold inflections across the board, obviously customized for me. My pre-order purchase date 7th of the 1st, arrived on 7th of the 4th. Some information about the warranty, nice weight of card, very, very nice. We also have then the testing booklet. So what they do with Ocean Rovers, what they do is they test everything. So they test, seconds gained and lost over time, and they go through a 6-week testing process, which I think is fantastic, just to see that the detail that they've gone into. We've got the movement serial number, what you're supposed to get 38-hour power reserve. This particular one is the ETA 2824-2. These also come in an SW200-1, so the Solida versus the ETA, very, very similar. You do not get a choice as to which movement you get. It's literally based on what they have at that time. So I did actually want the ETA. I prefer, for whatever reason, those movements, and I got it. So I was kind of lucky there. Either way, you're getting an exceptional movement. Tested power reserve 42 hours, and you can see all the detail there. Again, lovely branded Ginault booklet. You get the movement size and all that kind of stuff. Little stamp, and that's that. And then you get this little polishing cloth again with the Ginault brand on it. It's all right. It's a microfiber cloth. It'll work really well for cleaning that bezel and crystal up. And then you get the watch itself, beautifully wrapped. By the way, this doesn't even do anything justice, but absolutely the best wrapped watch I've ever received from new. Just everything is wrapped, from the side flanks, the lugs, the ceramic bezel with the date window out, and then this wrapping around everything on the clasp. It's absolutely wonderful. I have to say, I was really, really impressed with the way that was presented. You also have that hand-built in America thing, which is also reiterated on the dial. But that is really the height of the kit. Lovely little presentation box, albeit very simple. But that's, in my opinion, a good thing. So there we go, on to the watch then. So this is the Ocean Rover 2. Gold Sands model with that beautiful red seconds hand sweeping around there. Just to go through some of the specs then. So it's a 40mm pre-ceramic style case. I don't know what pre-ceramic style case means, but it sounds good. Chamfered lugs, so you have these beautiful sweeping lugs. But as far as I understand it, the lugs and the polishing on the case and everything is actually hand finished. So some of the reviews I've seen have noted that some of the, like maybe one lug is less thick than another one. This seems very, very even to me, but I can see that it has been hand finished. For instance, if I can get this on camera here, you see at the point of this lug, there's a slight little kind of flat area right at the point, and it's not on the other one. But I actually quite like that, just as a, a hand finish sort of approach. I think is quite a nice little thing to have. So I don't mind if there are a couple of imperfections like that. Now, you'll never notice it unless you really, really go looking, and trust me, I did. But I just actually quite like the sort of tailored approach to that. The fact it is hand finished, I think, is really, really cool. High gloss enamel dial. So let me tell you something, I cannot get anything. You get a bit of reflection on the dial at certain angles. It is a beautiful inky black dial there. You don't really get anything out of it. It's just pure black, which I think is absolutely stunning. We've got forged applied indices, again hand assembled. Love the fact, I think the proportion of them is absolutely perfect for this size of watch and the size of dial. We have beveled sword minute hands with a custom Ginault red second hand, which again I think is just gorgeous. It really sets this apart. Beautiful look, and I mean, you can see that just lovely sweep going around there. On the bezel then, we have what I think is the showstopper of the piece, and it's that beautifully engineered ceramic insert. It's engraved 60-minute full graduation, loom pip at the 12. You can get, it says, if you prefer the classic look, aluminium inserts from the Ocean Rover 1 can be mounted upon request. But given what I told you earlier about what I really wanted to see from this range, the ceramic insert is exactly what I wanted. And I don't say this lightly, because I've owned a lot of great watches that I've loved, from Oris and Tags and Alpinas. This is the best bezel insert that I've ever seen in terms of engineering, especially a ceramic bezel insert on any watch that I've ever owned, in that kind of $2,000 to $3,000 mark. Now, bear in mind, the pre-order price of this particular one was $11.99, and when it goes on full release, will go up to $16.99 because it's got the date variant. So just to cover that very quickly, the way they've worked, the pre-order phase 1 and 2, you basically get $200 cash back and 20%. So the final price on this particular model is $11.99. The no date model, phase 1 was $1,039, and then that rose in phase 2, or will rise in phase 2, to $11.99, with the date model rising again in phase 2 to $13.59. So this was a phase 1 watch that I bought, but honestly, even at full price, $16.99, this is by far the best engineered bezel that I've ever seen in a watch, anywhere near that price point. And let me just show you that. You get the full impact of it. But you'll see there the depth of the etching on the markers. So if you look at the 20 there, right, you should see there it's actually quite deep, and all the markers are the same. You see the little shadow as you go around. It's not even close. This is the best ceramic insert I've seen at any watch anywhere near this price point. And then the loom pip, if we look at the detail of the loom pip, you know, the little stainless steel surround on that, perfectly centered. You know what else I love is the fact that these little minor indices here, as you go round to the 15, are slightly taller than the rest around the dial, but they're all marked, right? But they're just slightly larger in this kind of upper right quadrant, so to speak. Some people have complained about the detail on the dial. So we've got quite a lot of text. Kinetic, continuous, date, Ocean Rover, 1,000 feet, 300 meters, submersible, maritime, precision, chronometer, hand built in America. I love the detail. It's not something I think is cluttered or imbalanced or anything like that. I actually really like the fact that there is that much detail on there. So that dial, the bezel insert, the bezel itself, the engineering on that is just beautiful. Look at the little scallops on that. And that kind of brings us round then to the crown. So we have these very traditional crown guards with a Ginault flower stamp on that. We've got the polished case sides, which again always need a little bit of a rub, and they just pick up everything, but just beautiful case sides. And the other side there you can see. While we're on the top view, the bezel itself is a strange one, right? Because it is very, very hard to move, but just a beautiful sweep to it, even though it is quite hard. So I'll tell you what I mean. I don't know if you'll get a semblance of the sound of it, but it's almost like it glides, and the clicks are like almost, I don't know how they do it or why, how it's manufactured, but just give you an idea here. Very, very precise. Touch of backplay, but nothing major. It'll come as no surprise, it perfectly matches up with the 12 as well. So great action on that. A little bit tough to move. They do say sometimes it can ease up a little bit over the first few months. Not that you're going to be turning it that much, but I find it very hard to move. That's the only thing I would say. So what they describe that as, they call it a Gen 2 bezel assembly. I don't know what goes into it, right? They're the experts. Structurally redesigned for the most amazing turning and tactile feedback. Outer ring is slightly reprofiled with slightly deeper and sharper teeth for a better grip. That is true. There is really good grip on that outer edge with the scallops there. You can just see it's quite aggressive if you actually look straight down on it. And then the side profile is actually quite elegant, but it works really, really well. The only complaint I would have is that it is a little bit hard to turn. I would imagine that most people will have difficulty turning that easily. Sapphire crystal, anti-reflective coating on this flat version. So the domed version does not have the anti-reflective like I mentioned earlier, but they call it a triple layer optometry grade. Clear coating, no blue hue, anti-reflective coating. Now I tend to like the especially the blues in an anti-reflective coating, but I understand for that classic kind of look and feel, they haven't gone to that extent on this one. Or not that extent, they just made the decision to keep it classy, plain, and just very, very, well, classic. Now, on to another one of the showstoppers in this piece, and it's the bracelet. It's a Gen 2 94530G bracelet. Don't know what that means, don't ask me. Tighter mid-link tolerance. Slightly reprofiled clasp for enhanced comfort and durability. And 3x3 permanent link design allows a perfect fit, even for the slender wrist. So I've got a fairly slender wrist, 7 inches, right? Wearing my Zodiac Grand Rally today, the only quartz watch I'll wear. Snob. But honestly, the bracelet, the clasp, is one of the things I love most about the original Ocean Rover. Let me just do a quick wrist test here. So we do have that very classic kind of Submariner Rolex look for the clasp. Beautiful sweep, lovely quality. I mean, you can see the quality of the stainless steel. It really is next level. All the lines add up. It's all beautifully perfect in that regard. Polished sides, again, fingerprint magnets. But that's exactly what you want in terms of that look with the brushed in the top. This beautiful little indent here for your fingernail. Very, very easy to open. And then what I love about this, if you go to pull from the sides, it won't open. But all you have to do is just pop your finger in there, and it's just a lovely mechanism to open that. A couple of little bits of wrapping still on there. Like I say, everything in this is just wrapped. Even these wee lines here down the sides, it's all individually wrapped. You see, hopefully, a little bit of the quality of that beautifully smooth clasp opening. And then again, one of the showstoppers of the piece, the micro adjustments, if I can get them on camera here. So the way this works is, it could not be simpler or easier to use. Basically, from this side here, it pulls up. So we'll just see, if I'm doing it normally, I would do it like this. Pulls up, you see that? Clicks in, pulls up, and then you can just slide it. So then when you're done, you just click it down, and that's it, done, right? So I'll go in, it's fairly early morning, so my wrist isn't exactly fully warmed up. Do a quick wrist check. So you can see that, just that look, it couldn't be classier, it couldn't be more classic, couldn't be better built or engineered. I don't have a Rolex here to compare, but I would not be surprised if that ceramic bezel insert, the engineering on it was at least as good as any Rolex. Submariner kind of style, you know. It's out of this world. I'm not joking. If you have one of these in your possession, you will constantly be looking at that bezel in wonder. Just like, how did they do it? How so precise? How so perfect? And I'm telling you, I've gone round it. I've tried to look for flaws, you know, maybe a little notch out of one of the numbers or one of the markers. There's absolutely nothing. And it just goes to show the attention to detail. Now, Ginault, you may have heard, like, there's a little bit of controversy about the company. There's the whole homage thing. Is it respectable to do that and all this kind of stuff. Honestly, I don't care when the result looks like this. The engineering that's gone into it, you look at the lugs and the little step in, very classic again, kind of Submariner look, but the little step in of the bracelet with the lugs around, it just creates a dynamic with the watch. You know, these little step ins, step outs, the long lugs sweeping round, that 40mm, very, very classic size, absolutely perfect for my wrist. Again, 7-inch wrist. The only thing we haven't covered is the case back, so I'll show you that before we sign off. Very, very plain, very classic. Just have some information around the outside. This is 196 out of 300. We've got the Ginault brand over there. Everything else just very simple, clean, classic. I'll pop up some close-up macro shots so you can just see the detail on this watch. But I'm telling you now, it's out of this world in terms of quality. If you have the opportunity to get your hands on one, please do. You will not be disappointed. There's very, very few people I've spoken to have had one of these and have said anything but glowing reports, rave reviews, and that's even without factoring in the price. You know, the beautiful silky smooth stainless steel bracelet. You always know a quality timepiece when you get up to the $2,000, $3,000 mark. You know if it belongs based on the quality of the bracelet. It's one of my kind of markers for it. So what you'll find is when you get a Tag Heuer, it doesn't really match up with the price point. Like say a Formula One Tag Heuer at $1,000 has the worst clasp I've ever seen. But this one at just like a couple of hundred more or whatever, probably actually about the same price as a Formula One. Different league, genuinely. Now I'm not comparing this to a Tag Heuer really, just for like price comparison. But I honestly don't have any complaints. Aside from the bezel action, which is a little bit tight, I just think this has been one of the most beautifully engineered, highly attentive builds that I've ever seen. And this won't be going anywhere. Like there's very few watches I can say that about, as anybody that knows me can attest to. But this watch, I was looking forward to it. and I knew it was going to be good based on the Ocean Rover 1, but I had no concept until this landed, and I'm honestly blown away, infatuated by this watch, to be brutally honest, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So well built, so well engineered, everything about it. If I had to pick another thing, I'd say I would love to have seen some sort of branding on the clasp, maybe the flower or the Ginault G or something like that. I don't know. Ginault G, something just to embellish that a little bit maybe. So guys, with that, I'll sign off. Thank you again for watching. Hope you're keeping well. Let me know if you have any questions at all about this watch or anything else on the channel. And make sure, if you can, hit that like button for me and hit the subscription button and the notification bell, and I can keep you posted as I release all the new stuff on the channel. And meantime, thanks again for watching. Signing off, that's the Ginault Ocean Rover 2. Absolutely stunning.